This video might be a little bit controversial. A couple weeks ago, I talked about the state of the Titan class during the final shape and how it has a bit of an identity crisis. In the same video, I quickly mentioned that hunters are broken right now. And while that is true, it doesn't mean that hunters are safe from my analysis lens. I have been a hunter main since I first picked up Destiny many years ago, and up until this point, I saw no reason to play anything else. The exotics are cool, and there were many builds that could be used, all of which were fun and functional. Today, in the final shape, hunters are currently sitting at the top of the sandbox in both PvE and PvP, due in no small part to the release of the Prismatic subclass. But even with it at the top, I have chosen to all but abandon the class and primarily play on my Warlock. Although this is maybe a little bit of an anecdote, it's the smoking gun telling me that there is actually something wrong with the Hunter class, and I'm going to talk about it today. From the impact of Prismatic to the DPS terror of Still Hunt, it's time to talk about what is going on with Hunters and why it's left its own class and the game in a pretty unhealthy spot. Hey everyone, I'm Rizeki and welcome to my design analysis of the Hunter class in the final shape. As always, thanks so much for checking out the video. We are rapidly approaching 5,000 subscribers, we're less than 500 away, so if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and give that button a little tickle. We've got so much more Destiny content coming out really soon that you won't want to miss. I also have a really big announcement that I've been sitting on for a few days now. As many of you know, the channel is partnered with Advanced GG. Not only is Advanced a great brand for gaming supplements for energy, hydration, and more, but we've also just released the very first Rizeki themed item, the Rizeki Ice Shaker. I've had mine for a little while now, and it's just incredible. It's great for keeping your drinks cold, no matter what you put in it. Which, by the way, I recommend the Peach Mango Hydration flavor. It's my personal favorite. But not only is this great as a cup, but it's got my avatar logo right on the front. The pictures and videos don't do it justice. It looks really sick in person, the engraving is super clean, and the design is fantastic. No bias, of course. If you'd like to pick one up for yourself, or any other Advanced product, head over to the link in the video description and use code RIZEKI at checkout for 10% off your order. Again, thanks to Advanced for being a great channel partner. Prior to the release of the final shape, I was pretty mixed about the Hunter Prismatic Kit, as most of the abilities we were given were generally unused in the mono subclasses, and that was slightly disappointing to me. I did, however, immediately see what would become the combo that makes Prismatic tick: Combination Blow, Stylish Executioner, and Winter's Shroud. If all else failed, then this would be the bread and butter, the saving grace of the subclass. And when the final shape did release, I couldn't be more right. Most players immediately gravitated to using that exact combo with Liar's Handshake, and a little bit more recently with the exotic class items, taking some combination of Spirit of Caliban with either Liars or Syntheseps in the other column. This particular build combination absolutely took over the PvE sandbox. I would venture to say that most Hunter players right now are using some form of this build. It's easy to use, has great sustainability because of Combination Blow and Liar's Handshake, and might be the strongest room nuke the game has seen in a while. So why would I, a Hunter main, be upset about this? There are two major issues with this build existing in the game, and both reasons are separate from each other. I'll start with the one that impacts the Prismatic subclass directly, although we will be coming back to this point multiple times throughout the video. First up, we have a significant lack of build crafting and build diversity potential. Hunters actually suffer from the exact same problem that Titans suffer from on Prismatic. The only reason Hunters are not getting the same attention is because they are currently strong. Their limited build pool consists of the strongest builds in the game, so when compared to the limited build pool for Prismatic Titan, it looks a lot better. What ended up happening to Titans, as I explained more in depth in my Titan video previously, is that Bungie designed the Prismatic Kit around a single specific combination, namely triple melee charges with Frenzied Blade. Hunters, on the other hand, were designed entirely around Combination Blow. So for Hunters, the only subclass components that really work together are ones that synergize with Combination Blow and Gambler's Dodge in some way. If we take a look at our aspects, we'll find that there really isn't much synergy there. The aspects that work with our Combination Blow combo are Winter's Shroud, Threaded Spectre, and Stylish Executioner, with Threaded Spectre being a hard maybe, since it's outclassed by Winter's Shroud and Stylish. The other aspects, Gunpowder Gamble and Ascension, literally don't synergize with anything else in the kit. Maybe you can make it work with Stylish, but for builds using Gunpowder and Ascension, Stylish doesn't really do much to benefit them. Just to take a quick tangent here, let's talk about those two aspects, Ascension and Gunpowder Gamble. Gunpowder Gamble was never the most used solar aspect, but it has seen use in some builds, and players that enjoy Gunpowder really like it. Gunpowder also has a couple of supporting fragments that make it more usable than it would be at base, even if it doesn't necessarily have the same synergies as the combination blow build. Ascension, however, might just be the worst aspect in the game, full stop. Not only does it have literally no synergies, for one, it doesn't even count as a dodge usage even though it consumes your class ability, but it also doesn't have any good synergies within the Prismatic Hunter kit either. The only benefit it provides is the ability to amplify yourself and allies. Sure, this procs some fragments like Facet of Sacrifice, but amplified on its own is pretty much useless. And even looking a little further out, Gifted Conviction is also not very good, and as much fun as the helicopter build is with Radiant Dance Machines, it's not good enough to warrant the inclusion of Ascension in a build. But I could go on for days. For now, let's swing back to the combination blow build. In PvE, our grenades are not impactful, with only Grapple and Duskfield being usable in very specific circumstances. Magnetic grenades were never used historically and still have no use today, and has no real synergies in the kit, and the other two are okay at best. So for all intents and purposes, there is no reason to focus around a grenade build, which leaves our combination blow melee as the best choice for an ability-based build. Even looking at fragments, we are pigeonholed into the combination blow build. Ignoring fragments that deal with transcendence, we have a very high proportion of fragments that directly benefit this build, such as Courage, Dawn, Protection, Blessing, and maybe Purpose and Ruin. The remaining fragments are not providing enough value to the other build paths to justify them. Is it possible to make other builds for Prismatic Hunter? Yeah, it is. I've done it. But they are so starved for supporting abilities and effects that it's just better to stick to the one build that works and has all the support it could possibly ask for to succeed. To sum all that up, Prismatic Hunter in PvE boils down to a single build that just so happens to be the best build in the game. There's no build diversity because the Prismatic Kit wasn't thoughtfully designed to include other relevant build opportunities, just like on Prismatic Titan. For a subclass that was meant to combine all of our powers into a single kit, it did a pretty poor job of letting us do that. The other major issue with this build existing is it literally removes the reason for using the Arc Strider subclass. Arc across the board, not just on Hunter, is not doing great, but has always been a decent choice if you like the playstyle. Arc Strider Hunters were built around Combination Blow, Flow State, and Lethal Current, weaving in and out of enemies with melees and while taking out large groups of enemies with Jolt and AoE effects from your melee kills. While Arc Strider does have a couple other builds, this was the primary, de facto way to play the subclass, and it was good. Really good. With Prismatic, things have changed. The Combination Blow build on Prismatic now completely outclasses Combination Blow on Arc Strider. On Prismatic, you can enjoy both invisibility from Stylish Executioner, as well as high melee damage from Liar's Handshake at the same time, which you can't do on Arc. You also get the same AoE ad clear with Spirit of Caliban on the class item, or from shatter damage from your Winter Shroud aspect. And to top it all off, you could choose a super such as Silk Strike to generate woven mail from fragments like Facet of Purpose, giving you even more sustain than the Arc Strider class has. With the same exact build being available on two different subclasses, of course players are going to use the better of the two. In this case, it's Prismatic. And with that, it completely removed the need for Hunter players to ever touch the Arc Strider subclass, outside of needing Gathering Storm or maybe Shinobu's Vow if you really like skip grenades. Removing the need for Arc Strider isn't great, but it's okay if it's just one casualty, right? Well, not quite. I'm going to move away from the Combination Blow build since I think we've covered all the problems that it caused. There is another build available on Hunters, and that revolves around a single specific circumstance: DPS. Most of the time, you'll be using your Combination Blow build for ad clear and general gameplay. For DPS, you're probably going to swap to one of the newest exotic weapons, Still Hunt. Now, Still Hunt probably warrants its own video since it has a lot that goes into it, but the short end here is that on Hunters, it works with the Celestial Nighthawk exotic, essentially giving you two incredibly powerful one-shot golden gun supers. Although just recently nerfed, Still Hunt and Hunters are the topic of conversation due to the potency of the combo within the Witness fight in the Salvation's Edge raid. Not only did Still Hunt Nighthawk completely push out other Hunter DPS rotations, but it also completely overshadowed the other two classes. There are some pretty crazy DPS rotations out there, but a lot of the top ones require a very specific weapon swap, timing, and rolls. Still Hunt, on the other hand, only requires 6 precision shots and a special reload. It's easy, not just powerful. What might be even crazier is that you could actually use this build at the same exact time as the combination blow build. Whether you play the neutral game with Nighthawk equipped, or you hot swap right before DPS, there is no penalty for having both the strongest neutral game build and the best DPS build at the same time. Usually, designers will want to have some restrictions or additional balance systems baked into the kit to prevent players from having their cake and eating it too. But that's just not the case with Prismatic Hunter. What all this really boils down to, and the reason I am upset with the state of Hunters as of the final shape, is not necessarily because they're the top dogs in the PvE sandbox. Every class at one point in time was the best. Lightfall was the year of Titans, for example. But what upsets me really is how Prismatic Hunter has achieved this while simultaneously limiting the buildcrafting potential of the class. If you're playing Prismatic Hunter in PvE, you are using Combination Blow for general gameplay and Still Hunt Nighthawk for DPS. There's almost no room for anything else, because there's no support for anything else. Prismatic Hunter in PvE is one-sided. It might be a really strong side, but it's only got one. Bungie failed to design the kit to account for other build paths, and that really just hurts the lifeblood of the game, build crafting. I, like so many other players, was excited to jump into Prismatic and be able to play with the infinite build possibilities, with every ability we have in the game. In reality, the ultimate subclass feels more limiting than any of the mono subclasses ever were. If Bungie wants to remedy this, they are going to have to take a pretty close look at what to add to the Prismatic kit to open up pathways for more interesting, unique, and never before seen builds. Until then, I'll be sticking to my Warlock, and playing with a much wider variety of builds to keep the game feeling fresh and new. So what do you think? Was I a little too harsh on Hunters? Do you agree that Hunters are suffering from a lack of build diversity? I know I didn't talk about PvP in this video, so let me know if you want to see me cover the current PvP sandbox at some point. You could leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, or over in our Discord server, linked in the video description. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. The support is greatly appreciated. Oh, and don't forget to check out the Roseki Ice Shaker from Advanced. I'm so excited for it to be here, and I hope you are just as excited as I am. Link also in the description. But I think that's all I've got for now. As always, I've been Roseki, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.